Lots of people think that cannabis is just for smoking, but when they hear this song, they'll learn there's more to toking. 25,000 different things we can make from it, and if we give it a chance, we'll save the blinking planet. Food, fuel and medicine, necessities for life, a benefit to all of us, I wonder and delight. Reading this smelly weed, there's more than meets the eye, so much, much more than smoking, it can cleanse our dirty skies. Cannabis, cannabis, we'll save the planet with cannabis, cannabis.
Good evening, it's Hemp Works coming from Valencia in Spain. And tonight I've got the lovely Sue Rosen on. I'm going to introduce you her to you in a minute. And Casper, we got some really good news. We're going to put you sorted out some stuff for Time for Hemp as per usual, and it's about this grow room. This 20. What's happening there, brother?
We are growing live on the timeforhemp.com website. When you come to timeforhemp.com, you'll be able to go to our check out the cool things to do button, and when you get there, you'll see that we've got a grow room on the website where we're growing marijuana live in front of an HD camera, and we got 2 gardens that are sitting side by side that we're putting in. And I believe Crop King Seeds is the seeds from one of the gardens. And we are going to be going from germination to beautiful plant to bud to harvest to smoke in about a 16-week period. And then we're going to put in 2 more gardens, and we're going to do that 3 times this year, 3 times next year for a 2-year project of growing marijuana in real time on the internet, where anytime you want to log in and see the plants on your smartphone or your tablets, you're able to do so. Sometimes you'll log in and see them sleeping. Sometimes you'll log in and see people watering or fertilizing and working with the plants. And we're going to make instructional videos along the way so people can get tips on ways of adjusting their lighting and getting their fertilizer just right. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think we're the only one on the internet right now that is growing marijuana in real time live on the internet. So make it a point to share it with your friends.
And of course, so educational. There is so many people coming into the market now that this is their first introduction to the plant. They don't know quite what to do. I get loads of emails asking me how to grow, and I don't know how to grow indoors. I'm an outdoor grower, so I'm really not very much used to them. But that's brilliant that they can actually log in now and watch professionals how it should be done. Easy peasy. Well done, Casper.
Thank you.
Nice work. Right, Sue. I got Sue on the other line. This is what it's all about. And last time I spoke to Sue, I do believe, we was coming live at that time from using was it the mayor's office, Sue, where they was doing the count for the legalization?
Yeah, for New York.
Wow.
To finally recognize the Compassionate Care Act and to legalize medical marijuana.
So we're about a year on from that, aren't we, Sue?
Yes, we are. Yes,
yeah.
We're a long time off from that. Okay, let me talk a little bit about myself first, I guess.
Yeah. I know a little bit about you, but obviously the audience that listens, Sue gets up to loads of great stuff. Yeah, she's got a great Facebook following, and really, you know.
And
Sue,
we're buds.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
My name is Sue Degregorio Rosen, and I'm a registered professional nurse for longer than I like to admit. But that's okay. I am from the New York, New Jersey, East Coast coalition that we have going on here. I am a cannabis nurse. I am an activist for the American Cannabis Nurses Association. And if there are any nurses listening out there, please come on board with us. I mean, you know, this is like a cool place to be. This is where you learn.
Sorry, is that international, by the way? Can nurses outside of America?
Well, I'll tell you. You know what? The international nurses, no, it's national.
Okay.
The international nurses, though, Australia did reach out to us, you know, and we were able to help them along to make their own association group.
Fantastic.
So it goes like that. As far as being international, there are so many groups out there, so it's kind of like blending in. I think we're all blending together now. I am also the legal liaison for the National Cannabis Patients Wall, and what that means is I'm one of the administrators. I'm an editor, but I am doing the law stuff that we're right now participating in. Okay.
Sorry, can you tell me
about the wall. Now, the wall is international.
Tell us about the wall. Tell us about
the wall. We have, as we speak right now, 18,998 members.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, I know you are. Okay. And what the wall is about, it signifies our solidarity as patients that are in need of safe and effective alternatives. We are here to support you. This project was intended to be mobile so that it could go to all supporting marches and rallies that are being planned. And that's what we're doing. We're doing stuff like that. We have there's a lot of support in this group. If it's somebody's birthday, whatever, we are right with you. But what we're doing is we're also showing the struggle for legalization in states and countries denying legal access. So we ask everybody, join our efforts to file a civil suit. For those of you that live in the United States, please join. Please join. We want to hold them accountable. We have filed an intent to we have some legal.
Sorry, can I slow you down there? So you filed an intent. Now we are talking to an international audience. So can you just explain what that is? Yeah. In
this country, what we have to do whenever there's a class action lawsuit, and that's what this is. It's a class action lawsuit because this country is in violation of our constitutional rights. One being the First Amendment, the other being the 14th Amendment, and then the 10th Amendment always follows in suit there. What's happening right now here is that because civil suits such as large as this, there's lawyers don't want to take this on. This is a big job. And we're rock and rolling with this. We really are. I mean, we have a lot of people on board. So what we must do in this country is the people that we are letting know that we are intending to file suit is our President Obama, Attorney General Loretta Lynch of the Department of Justice, the FDA chief, Health and Human Services, Department of Justice, the National Institute on Drug Abuse. And so we are required to let them know that we are intending to litigate on behalf of the plaintiffs of the National Cannabis Patients Wall.
So this is a legal, you're presenting legal documents to them?
Yeah. Yes.
Right. Yes. Okay. This is like saying, "Oi, you come to court and prove." Yeah. Right. You're going to hold the American government, if I've got this right, to account through the federal courts of America, which abide by American law.
Because what our 14th Amendment says to the Constitution, which was ratified on July 9th in 1868, granted citizenship to all persons born here. Okay, that also included former slaves and whoever was freed at that time.
Who was there?
Forbids the states from denying any person life, liberty, or property without due process of the law, or to deny to any person within its jurisdictions the equal protection of the laws. Okay.
So this is like the founding fathers that went to America from sort of all over the world, but basically from Europe to get away from the persecution in Europe. They went over to a place that is now called the United States of America. They made these freedom acts, or they got together, the Germans, the Russians, whoever they were, and they made these acts in your country. And it described it in no way other than a clear interpretation that you had some rights, yeah, and those rights will be upheld for like ever, because that's what your country was based on. Wow.
And the First Amendment talks about, our human rights, and there are human rights, and pursuant to all of this, in 1976 there was a case, United States versus Randall, and the federal judge ruled that while he had the gentleman involved in it had glaucoma. Okay, now we all know forever that marijuana helps the pressure for glaucoma. So
it's been proven. Dr. Lowe from Jamaica.
It's been proven over and over and over again, and no one will debate that. No one debates that. Yeah. So federal judge James Washington ruled that while blindness was shown by competent medical testimony to be the otherwise inevitable result of the defendant's disease, no adverse effects from the smoking of marijuana have been demonstrated. Medical evidence suggests that the medical prohibition is not well-founded. So that's kind of like, we talk a lot about jury nullification here, especially since the movement has really come up here. It's really going to happen, I hope, before I die. I'm a Woodstock child.
Lucky
but we're waiting for it. We're waiting for it. So each state, everybody in each state should have the right to be able to use alternative herbals. And this is one of them. And in 1974, we know that Richard Nixon, of course, he wasn't happy with what the results were, as far as all the testing for marijuana. And then we can go back to the early 1900s too, but I don't know that we even need to go back that far. Everybody knows that marijuana was legal and went on.
The joy of it is the documented or videoed. There is proper documentation out there to back up the things that you're saying.
There is so much documentation. It's absolutely, it's ridiculous. But in 74, they knew cannabis cured cancer, okay? Yeah. And Nixon wanted like a bigger budget for his DEA, so he thought if he proved cannabis caused lung cancer like cigarettes do, that would support it. But that didn't happen, and the Medical College of Virginia, it took them 2 years to do a study on the effects of THC on the body. And they said back then that cannabis cures cancer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he basically stopped medical evolution.
He did.
He stopped medical evolution. That's like with old
because not only that, it dissolves all forms of tumor, and it can even combat the superbugs like we have in the hospitals.
Everything.
MRSA, what have you.
Everything. And everything it don't cure, let's try it and find out what it doesn't cure, because at the moment it seems to cure everything. Mm-hmm. Not cure.
I personally, used it on a snake bite when 2 years ago I came back from Mexico and I had gotten bit by a snake, and I was really scared. I thought I was going to die, because it was I just went over that peak of the snake that when they give you the anti-venom, and I'm not a big vaccine person, but that's we can't talk about that. But anyway, I used it. Someone gave me some oil, and what I did was I put some coconut butter in it, and I kept rubbing it on my foot. I have pictures of my foot. I had hemorrhagic foot. My blood pressure was almost like the same on each level. I had every single, component. And within, I would say 2 weeks, it was gone. I don't even have a scar from the snake bite.
This is it. Besides it, we've all got evidence now, totally, that what it does, and it cures what they call in church miracles. right? Now we know from Bob Melameda and Michamura and all these great doctors like Dr. Colley, we now know the science behind it. The science has caught up with what we sort of knew intrinsically. It's without a shadow of a doubt. So how are you're threatening the government basically to take them to court. So how are they coping?
No, we're not threatening, we're promising.
You're promising. Oh, thank you.
I don't threaten, I promise.
Thank you. You're promising to take them to court. So
yes.
Is it financed? I mean, obviously going to court costs a lot of money and things, yeah?
That's why we have nearly 19,000 members. Now, do we have legal backup? Absolutely. And I'm not at liberty to say right now who my legal backup is. All they said to me is, Sue, if you take the lead in this, we'll back you. And I said, okay. So we've got it going. So what our goals is really is that all of the seriously ill Americans, regardless of what state they're in, have the right to obtain and use, cannabis for medicinal purposes.
Absolutely.
The medical use is deemed appropriate, and that's it. I mean, even when it's deemed appropriate now, it's not being followed up, and people are waiting. Since we talked last, nobody is open yet in New York. Okay, so
that's criminal
we've
itself,
been
isn't it?
crying for emergency access for the children. Finally, Governor Cuomo signed off on the emergency access. Well, the first dispensary is opening up January 1st of 2016. Okay, so we're only 6 weeks away. So, really, I'm really disappointed in this state because we are supposed to be the most liberal state in the country, and yet we failed. We failed. We failed. We even failed past Governor Christie. At least he didn't write it off for the kids. He tried, but he didn't do it. He wasn't successful. So we want to make sure that the caregivers can obtain and use it. Because right now, like the hospitals, this is what happens, okay? I have this one friend, Jenny. She is a nurse, and she has a child that has multiple anomalies. Besides being autistic, he has cerebral palsy. He's got many things going on. And the concentration that he needs in order to keep him at a level is not appropriate for the state of New Jersey.
What bullshit.
And so Jenny is what we call one of our medical refugees that run off to Colorado to, try to get, their child taken care of. Colorado's been very successful with doing that. But I think my personal opinion is they're, they're getting overloaded. Come on, everybody's going to move out there to save their kids there, the state of Washington.
State of Colorado, how many kids? 97% of the children in America live in Colorado. Why is that?
Yeah,
exactly.
Really. California is a bit too, what's the right word for it? Skitsy, with their laws, yes, today it's okay, tomorrow we're going to raid you. So it's difficult, and California is also a difficult state to live in. It's very expensive. Anyone that's been to California knows what it's like. It's very expensive. It's big. It's got all kinds of different, terrains and weather areas.
So really,
but
we give a big shout out to Colorado because.
Big shout out to Colorado.
Big shout out to Colorado because what has really
Oregon is going with it. Oregon's good. They're getting there. They have a little bit of roadblocks to get through, but they have approved recreational. So that's great. Because for whatever reason, if your physician does not think that you need it, then at least you can, it's like going to buy Tylenol, and Tylenol is more dangerous for you than cannabis.
For me, coming from outside of the United States, a lot of the world's eyes focused in on Colorado. It comes up in discussion after discussion. When our politicians talk about legalization, Colorado can be put up now as an exemplary state.
They worked hard. They worked hard to get there. They really did, and God bless them.
Big shout. God bless them.
For doing that,
Yeah, by
I think
the way, on that legal note as well, I've been following that Shona Banda thing as well, because there's something going up there, isn't there, with that Swaney lady. She's a good lawyer, and she's been looking after Shona Banda. I've seen that. There's a lot of people going up there.
Yeah, well, that's all these cases are kind of like hard to follow, because I can't put my finger on why this is even happening to her.
Yeah.
She's a patient,
Exactly.
So, I mean, really, they're taking it a little bit too far, but they've been doing that to not just her. She just happens to be out there. But she's not the only one, And I mean, as far as the American Cannabis Nurses Association is concerned, we have said game on, basically how we feel is that it is morally and criminally wrong for the federal government to withhold a medication that is safe and effective. And really, how dare you second guess our passion and our compassion for our patients? And the one thing that people don't realize is that the Constitution delegates no power to the federal government to prohibit marijuana in the states. This power remains within the state governments and the people. And anybody that doubts me, you know what? Ask why they had to do an amendment to for alcohol prohibition. Okay, there's no fundamental difference here at all. None. What they need to do also in this country is to get it out of that schedule, that drug schedule they have it in. They have it, it's still a Schedule I drug, and it's not heroin, It's not heroin. It's not even close.
It's not.
Come on, what planet was someone on that decided that heroin and marijuana were equally as dangerous? I don't know who that was. I guess it was Richard Nixon, but whatever. Come on, really? We're not. What are we, stupid? And you know what else really gets me, Steve? Is this? Okay, we are the generation that was never going to get old. We are the generation that, we didn't have any laws that we couldn't smoke pot, and we did, and we listened to the music and we enjoyed ourselves, and Vietnam was going on, and then all our poor veterans came back from there, that were so trashed.
They were. Yeah.
And what did we do meanwhile? Okay, why is this now, or are we just passing the torch to the next generation? I'm a little confused about that. Why is it now? Why not 20 years ago? Well, I'll give us that much. What were we doing 20 years ago? What were you doing 20 years ago?
I was involved in hemp, believe it or not. I was growing hemp and turning it into things. That's all I seem to have done with most of my adult life.
You were growing hemp, okay.
I've been totally involved in the hemp agricultural side of the plant since 1994.
And that's you.
Basis.
And that's you. And
that's
you know
me.
what? And I was growing pot plants on my window ledge, where my cat would curl up in. But I was also running large emergency departments. And I worked in the worst of them. I never, ever had anyone come in that had any kind of difficulty that they signed in because they smoked too much pot and
So
they didn't know what to do.
Sue, what hospital was that? Was that New York?
No, actually, where the emergency departments that I was the boss, I was the chief, Hackensack University Medical Center, that's in New Jersey, and also Newark Beth Israel, which is a component of the St. Barnabas healthcare system, and that was a big place. Big place. Loved it there, though. I loved it.
Listen, for anybody out there that's listening, to work in a department like that is one thing. To run it is, well, I'm an ex-nurse myself, and I done 2 weeks in sort of the emergency trauma part. Man, I can't believe the amount of work that used to go on in them places, and to run one. Songs and praise, bless, man. Yeah, it's just not happening, isn't it? It's happening. Simple as that. It's happening. You don't know what's coming through the door.
No, you don't. We got to be quick on our feet and what have you. Yeah, but I was also a burn trauma nurse first. That was like my first job, and that was when
you've seen some
people were smoking cocaine. Okay, right. That's what we got. We got people that were smoking cocaine, and it blew up in their face. Yeah. We didn't get anybody that like burned themselves from smoking weed, Yeah. So that's always been something that's unheard of. It's unheard of, and the stories that get made up are just ridiculous. They really are. I'm kind of did I miss something here? I didn't even hear these stories, let alone witness any. And I live in the metropolitan area. I live in, I came from the town, where I grew up. It's the heroin capital of New Jersey. So it's not like I don't know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? As far as growing up. But we were peaceful. We were peaceful. So what were we doing all this time? What we were doing was we were concentrating on our own lives. Now, I'm not going to make an excuse for myself, but I was busy. I was a single mother. I came out of the welfare system. I went to college, I worked this job and that job and this job and that job. And when I successfully became a registered professional nurse, I was so proud. I'll never forget, my father was so proud of me too, because we were the Italians from the ghetto. It was what I loved. It was what I loved. Did I ever stop smoking pot while I was a nurse? No, it wasn't even thought about, none of us thought about that, right? It was just, let's smoke a joint after work,
Unfortunately, Sue, you did carry on smoking, but if for some bizarre reason, by accident, you had been caught, your career most probably would have gone down and finished.
Yeah, but you know what? But that didn't happen. What happened was the only time things happened was if someone was stealing narcotics, it was obvious. Yeah. And the medical community, the one thing I must say about them for this aspect is that they do take care of their own when it comes to drugs. Doctors are very, supportive to each other. Nurses are very supportive to each other. We have programs. It's not like you're going to, never work again and lose your license. And, so it's a very supportive thing. But smoking weed, why would they even test you for that, Why would you want to smoke weed and go work in the ER anyway? Right? I wouldn't smoke weed before I went to work. Why would I do that? To make myself crazy,
When I worked in the ER, when I finished duty, I smoked a lot of weed once I finished.
Yeah. I'll smoke when I'm finished, but not now because I got to be on top of my game.
Yeah.
And not to say, and I say it that way because I am saying it recreationally, as far as top of my game, as far as anything else. Do I think that it would interfere with any nurse or doctor that tested positive for THC? Come on now. Really? It's a fat-soluble substance, so it lingers in our liver a lot longer than anything else. You could shoot heroin the day before, Okay, but that's a water-soluble drug. That's a dangerous drug.
Also, I think it's a poison, so the body likes to get rid of it, whereas cannabis it likes to hang on to it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't like to leave.
It's like eating an avocado. That's how I describe it. It's like eating an avocado. You could do so much with an avocado, right? Avocados are awesome tasting if you like them. They have the best fats in them. You can make facials. You could do anything you want with an avocado, But you're not going to overdose on an avocado. It's not going to make you real stupid, right? It's only going to give you good things. And since the discovery of this I'm sorry? Go ahead.
So nobody's ever died of avocado poisoning. It must be a bit like marijuana then. It must be a bit like
right. Same thing.
Avocado and
they're both green.
Overdose. Both green.
Yeah, how do you like that,
Yeah, lovely.
I mean, really, when you think about it. And that's the only thing I can equate it to. Like, we're talking, I don't know, oranges and trucks, We're not even talking anything else. What else can I tell you about our litigation? I will tell you as much as I can.
Yeah, it just seems that the reason I brought up that shown abandoned one, it just seems that there is lots of cases now going on where the government is being challenged. Yeah? And that must be a good thing, because the more we challenge our governments over this, well, the more it's going to collapse, isn't it?
Yeah, the only strange thing I find, and I'm going to be be brutally honest, is that I never heard of anyone having their child taken away from the THC or because of weed. I really didn't. I saw the worst of the worst, I told you. Child Protective Services, usually they have too much other stuff to do,
Well,
they really have to concentrate on the serious cases.
Yeah. But then again, that's Sierra Riddle as well. I know at one point they try to take her child away, Landon. They try to take her child away from her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've come across a couple of cases in Europe where they found out the children are taking this cannabis-based herbal food, medicine, whatever you'd like to call it. And again, they try to take the kids away.
Yeah.
So it does go on. Yeah.
And Steve, did this happen before?
I mean, as I say, I don't want.
Did you ever hear of this before? I haven't.
Yeah, I had.
I haven't. Not as recent. Not within the millennials. Okay, that's what started it. The millennials, the advocacy, the threats to. I mean, we're talking. What are we talking? Food, fuel, fiber. We've got the smart kids coming up here now because none of them can get jobs. So, with all their college educations and their big student loans, so they figured it out. I guess they watched their parents.
Yeah.
I guess we did something.
It's just such a stupid law, isn't it? Whichever way anybody ever looks at it, it's just not right at all.
And it's so blatant. It's so blatant.
It's literally so blatant. Whichever angle you look at it, from whatever society you look at it, if you look at it environmentally, if you look at it medically, if you look at it sustainably, it just wins hands down every time.
Yeah.
And there's people out there going, we can't have it. Well, more fool us for listening to them, because they must be more stupid than we are.
Yeah. I guess, right? It's kind of like I don't ever remember any of this, hoopla, even regardless of the fact that, at one point, okay, fine, they kind of ignored the potheads, and then because cocaine was the drug of choice, right? And that was the Wall Street drug of choice. Okay, well, probably Wall Street's going to come and bomb my house later, but anyway. It was socially acceptable, right? Yeah. Everybody was doing cocaine. The number one hit song was "Cocaine" by Eric Clapton. Okay, now, So nobody was paying attention. Everybody was, getting too buzzed out, I guess, and then they spent all their money. I don't know. I don't know. They confused me. I don't know why everybody decided to continue to pick on the weed, pick on the plant, Colombia just made weed legal.
Oh, really? Great.
Yeah. Colombia.
So you got Mexico, Colombia, Canada,
Mexico.
Thailand.
Yeah,
man.
And we're like we're the monkey in the middle.
Really,
and
England is totally against it. England's still promoting that it's got no medical benefit whatsoever to anybody. Yet they've got a company that grows it and sells it.
Yeah, but people could stand online for their methadone, right?
Oh, there's plenty of those. Oh, you get methadone all day long in England.
Yeah. Same thing here. They can stand online for that stuff. But why do that? Why even think about that? Yeah. And we've had too many deaths from heroin because it's so cheap. It's just so cheap. It's in everybody's hand. It's so cheap.
And not just the one you buy off the street anymore. I mean, when I was ill, my doctor gave me loads of those. I think your equivalent.
The Oxycontin.
Yeah, your equivalent of that. It's like I've got liver problem. I've got hepatitis C, and the doctor's going, "How many do you want?" Oh, do you want 1,000 of them? Because I know you're in a lot of pain. At the time, I was so stupid, I didn't even realise what I was taking.
I don't know. It's toxic to the liver.
Right. Just fill
toxic to the liver. People die from Tylenol overdoses. People die.
More than anything else. Hey.
But I don't know. I just think that right now we've become, we're the mothers, we're the fathers, the grandparents, or whatever. We're the baby boomers, okay? And like I said before, we were the generation that was never going to get old because we thought we were so smart. And we want to change, and I think we fought for it. Some of us are still here. We challenged the system. We fought for a woman's right to choose, racial equality, that horrible Vietnam War, and we challenged the system. And it's no different than it was 40 years ago, We were tear gassed.
Yeah.
We were beaten with clubs. We were busted for unknown reasons, right? But we were fearless. But then they started sending that other drug in the caskets of the unknown soldiers. Yeah. So again, heroin is cyclical, heroin addiction. And it's whenever whoever is in charge where they get the most bang for the buck, I guess. That's all I can think of. I don't know.
Well, it's a shame as well because between the United Kingdom and the United States of America, they've wiped out a very good hashish culture in Afghanistan and replaced it with the most magnificent opium culture. Now, they always had opium there, but not on the scale they've got it now. Opium production is up, I think, 30% in Afghanistan. So
I think I read
everything. Yeah.
I think I read today that Iraq, one of those countries, I shouldn't say one of those countries like that, but I want to say Iraq wants to make opium legal.
Yeah, why not?
Make everything legal.
Make everything legal.
Because you know what? Back at the ranch,
it's fine.
Really, back at the ranch, it's all accessible. Okay, it's cheaper on the streets, right? Yeah. And then there's those of us that have survived because we realized we had life to preserve. Okay, and we never lost faith, so we worked underground. We didn't get and we watched our friends die. But we didn't partake to that extent.
Yeah.
If we did at all. Okay. Now, Richard Branson, he announced the UN was supposed to take a different stance on weed.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's happened or not, you know.
No, unfortunately, there was one government, just the one, at the United Nations that didn't quite like the policy, and that government shall go unnamed. USA! Oh, did I say that? Sorry. No, that's it. It was the USA that opposed it, and they put their thumb right on the edge of the UN, and the UN backed down. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. The cat's out the bag.
Yep.
Yep.
But we'll prevail. That's okay. You know what? It wasn't the USA. It wasn't the people. Okay. And that's what they have to do. Everybody has to talk to the people.
Sorry, I made that completely clear. Sorry, to the USA. It was the USA government. I even know his name if I can think about it. The brown fella that's in charge. He told him, and that geezer went off to the UN and said, "No, you can't do that because we're opposed to it." And of course, they all said, "Excuse me, you've got about 32 states that are all legal, and you're telling us we can't go legal. Fuck off." But
yeah, right. Really?
Unfortunately, the political status in the USA, which is not the people, it's a very small minority that's sort of running the fucking place. That bunch of fucking wankers, right? They decided that they won't be having it. Like, we've all got to do what they say, which is that we can't have no pot. So basically, we just told them fuck off.
Don't forget, we also have people like Governor Chris Christie from Jersey. And I always go back to Jersey because that's my home.
His address. I want to send him fucking fatty burgers every day for the rest of his life.
Wait a minute. There's a restaurant in Trenton, New Jersey. It's called The Joint, and they have Christie burgers. And it's
He's
pretty
a big
funny
fat guy, isn't it? Oh, I've got that line. It's that big. He looks like a big
Did you see that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one, right?
Yeah. So that's pretty funny. But, Governor Christie, contrary to how he feels, he has private interest holdings in the prison and the rehab system, especially the rehab system. He's really into that. And we all know rehab systems are revolving doors. Okay. Now, I watched it. And I continue to watch it. If you go down the coast, there's a strip in this country called the Pill Highway, I think it is, something to that effect.
Oh, I saw a documentary on that.
Right, it goes from Kentucky to Florida.
Yeah.
Think about it, right? All the rehabs.
Tell people what it is. I know what it is. Tell people what it is, Sue. That
well, the rehabs.
What do they do?
Okay, the rehabs are all in Florida, right? So what they do is, Kentucky, you take a state like Kentucky, which is it's not, people always think, when they think USA, they think New York City, Los Angeles, what have you. Go to Appalachia, Kentucky. I worked there for 2 years. The way that people live in the hollers, and what have you, is really very, very sad. It's very sad. It's a very poor area. And it's extremely racially divided. But so what else do they have to do? So they go get their teeth pulled out, and when the OxyContins became available to people, that's what you get for your pain prescription, right? So from there, then you go down to Florida that has all these rehab systems, and this is how they work, okay? You call them up, and they call you back, and they tell you, your insurance just said, it's okay, come on, get on a plane tomorrow, we'll pick you up at the airport, and they do.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, they put people in these rehabs, and most of them are fairly young people. There's one in particular that takes very wealthy people that are addicted, and so they're depending on the drug that they're in for, they're in and they're out. But whatever, then you get charged, right? Because your insurance company never said, okay, where's the proof that you're an addict, right? Like it's not, they create such a fraudulent kind of presentation, and people are desperate, so when they think they hear that, that's what they're being told. that's not what happens. Now, I had called once. I had called the Attorney General's office in Florida, and I had said, this and that about their rehab systems, just because I can't keep my nose out of things. And he said to me, he was such a gentleman. He said to me, the regulations here are so wide open. He said all of these rehab centers, they're owned by doctors that have pain clinics and what have you. He said, and okay, I hear you. So he said, I don't think anything will happen, but we'll go in and, we'll stir the pot. I think one by one they've been closing since a lot of the pain clinics have closed. Okay. Yeah. But these pain clinics, the minute the medical community decided to make pain a vital sign, that's when this happened with the pills. Pain is not a vital sign. We know that, right? What's your vital signs, right?
Yeah.
Come on. Pain is subjective.
Yeah.
If you take somebody's blood pressure, that's what their blood pressure is. But you can't take somebody's pain and measure it. They can tell you, if you ask me on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you hurt? I don't know, 10.
So I'm a man. I only got to injure myself, and I get a pain factor of 100,000. I'm a man. Whereas a woman can take a lot of pain. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. For your period cramps.
Yeah. Well, I've never had those. I think that's a myth.
You never want to.
I'm a man.
You never want to, We push human beings out of our body.
Look, but my Queen Victoria, she used to take this cannabis for her menstrual cramps. Right. If it's good enough for Queen Victoria, good enough for you. So listen,
in fact, there's a good article on Facebook on one of those. I've
got to pull you back in. Right. We got about sort of 5 minutes left. Yeah.
We've got 5 minutes left.
I told you it goes quick. Yeah.
It does.
1 minute. It's always a joy to hear you. Yeah. You're doing fabulous work down there. Now, right, in the last few minutes here, is there anything you need to promote? Is there anything you need to tell people about? How can they contact you? Blah, blah, blah. Tell to, yeah?
You can contact me. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on LinkedIn, any of those. I'm on every social media site. Just type in, I am, Sue Degregorio Rosen or Sue Rosen. You'll find me. It'll say Cannabis Nurse. Okay. On Facebook, I am CannaNurse420.com.
Can I say, is it okay for me to say as well, you've got quite a lot of information about Hep C. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, say that again?
You've got quite a lot of information about hepatitis C?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, you didn't mind me mentioning that, no? Also as well, look, anybody with Hep C, Sue has got some great information about Hep C in general and how cannabis works with Hep C and works with diet, honestly.
And it's doing wonderful things. Things.
Sorry, she took the words right out of my mouth. It does wonderful things.
So we'll do this again soon because I do want to update everybody on where we are with the civil suit. Okay,
look, so if you got anything to say, call me up. Yeah,
I will. I'll call you, Steve, and I'll say, you know what, throw me back on there. But please come in and join us on the National Cannabis Patient Wall, and you can find that right on Facebook. Okay, it's very easy. Or you can find me. You can find Steve. We'll guide you. We have a lot of different files. We have a lot of information. Lots of information.
We got a lot of information, and a lot of it's coming from people that have done it. Yeah, not from those people in white coats that want lots of money. Well, I've got to give a big shout out for myself too at the moment, right? Listen, we've got a cannabidiol oil on the market, yeah, and if you go to thcv.co.uk, you will find it is the cheapest and the most effective, beautiful oil that we can find at the moment. Yeah, obviously a big shout going out to Casper. Time for Hemp. .com. I mean, where would we be without you? You know, like spreading the love 24/7 all around the globe to all the people. Amazing information coming out from these shows at the moment. Thank you to my guests, Sue. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, Sue. Casper, thank you for letting us back on air again. I bless you all. Coming from Valencia, yeah, one love. We're going, man.
Love and peace.
Love and peace. Yeah, man.
Cannabis is a very useful weed. Cannabis will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis is very good indeed. Even Prince Charlie has a high regard for weed. He recommends it to MS sufferers who are in desperate need. It's medicinal, it's pure, and it helps to ease the pain. And if you're feeling down, my friend, it'll pick you up again. Cannabis will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis is a very useful weed. Cannabis will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis is very good indeed. A miracle to life. Say goodbye to trouble and strife. A gift to the world. Let the cosmic truth be told. Rationality, liberality, open out your minds. The sun is closing in and we're running out of time. There's no point in worrying, no wondering what to do. Cause the answer's in the colour green, it's shining through and through. Cannabis will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis is a very useful weed. Cannabis will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis is very good indeed. Cannabis will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis is a very useful weed. Cannabis will save the planet with cannabis. Cannabis is very good indeed. A miracle to life. Say goodbye to trouble and strife. A gift to the world. Let the cosmic truth be told. Where there's hemp, there's hope. It's a miracle to life. A gift to the world. Let the cosmic
Free? Did you say free? Free hemp? Free hemp? Free hemp video and audio? Free downloads of all the top artists, all the pot artists on planet Earth. Interviews with all the people making the movement, making the hemp movement. It's time for hemp. That's right, world. It's time for hemp. That's right, world. It's time for hemp.
Well, that train from TJ came puffing along. Up put her on smoker and up like in his lung. Well, it came into Houston on a Saturday night, so I got me a bag, gonna treat me right. And smoker from TJ gave me the blues. Well, you cough in your hat, cough in your hat, bowl swag, cough in your hat, cough in your hat. Now you're sweet. cough when we're high, cough when we're high. Bowls wide, cough when we're high, cough when we're high. Now we're still Will you cough when you're high, cough when you're high. Bowls wide, cough when you're high, cough when you're high. Now you're still. Will you cough when we're high, cough when we're high. Bowls wide, cough when we're high, cough when we're high. Now we're still.
I'm Gary Johnson, former governor of New Mexico. Last year, my state became the 12th state to allow medical use of marijuana by patients who are seriously ill. Groups like the American College of Physicians, American Nurses Association, and American Public Health Association have all acknowledged the medical value of marijuana. To learn more about medical marijuana and what you can do to help, contact the Marijuana Policy Project at 1-877-JOIN-MPP or visit them on the web at mpp.org. Thanks.